We are live, Marcel.
Yeah.
Monday, February 14th, the Valentine's Day edition of the MMAOB Daily Podcast. I'm here. I'm Adam Martins, my co-host, my Mr. Valentine on today. Mr. Marcel. Marcel, I'm the last thing you'll see before you go to sleep probably tonight. So I'm your Valentine this year, buddy.
Yeah.
How's everything going, man?
Everything is good, man. I mean, yeah, all good. Had a good weekend. How about you, man? I mean, your Valentine's Day with your fiance, with your daughter.
Yeah.
How it went?
No, it was good. So I'm working today, right? So I work from home though. So she came over, and Marcel, it's tough when you have a kid. You know what I mean? And so we were like, what are we gonna do tonight? Should we go for dinner? We just decided to stay in and have a nice lunch at home. So that's what we did today. Got a nice takeout lunch, dessert, split, and the kid was there with us. It does make it harder, guys, when you have a kid. But at the same time, I mean, you got to celebrate Valentine's Day at some point. It's your family, right, Marcel? And the girls love it, as you know, Marcel. So,
Yeah.
anyways, things are good. But I'm here now with you guys, and I'm looking forward to talking about UFC 271 with everyone. I mean, there's a lot to talk about, guys. Like it's a really good card with a lot of talking points coming out of it. So I'm really looking forward to talking about the card with you guys. We got Glenn here. Much love to you as well, my man. Got Alex. Happy Valentine's Day to you guys. I know Alex has got a lucky lady. I'm not sure about Glenn, but anyways, so let's get into the card, Marcel. I mean, why wait? Let's get into the card. So honestly, Marcel, other than the one pick, which we'll talk about, which wasn't a good pick by me, but other than that, I mean, it was a good night for me, Marcel. Like I had a lot of really good predictions, and like not just I picked the guy right, but also the way they won. Marcel, and that's the second step in this, right? Like picking the winner's hard enough, but when you get that second step of how they win, that's when you broke down the fight decently. So I'm not here to like pat myself in the back, but I'm the first guy to criticize myself when I have a bad night. Like when, for instance, that first card where Kader beat Chikadze, I mean, that wasn't a good night for me. You know what I mean? But Saturday was a good night for me, Marcel. So I'm happy about it, and the hard work pays off. You do the research, you watch the sport, and it pays off eventually. With the wallet. So let's get into the card. We'll start with the main event. Adesanya defeats Robert Whittaker via decision. So we got a lot to talk about here. First off, like I said last week, I was going back and forth on the decision knockout, but ultimately it went decision because I figured Robert could make those adjustments, Marcel, from the first to the second fight. So my thoughts on this fight were it was a very competitive fight, super competitive. I think Michael Bisping's a great commentator. I think his commentary was extremely one-sided in this fight. And I think if you're like a new fan and you don't really know how the sport scored, you might think that Israel won 50-45. But it felt the same way when he fought Jan Blachowicz. Like they ignored everything Jan did. You know what I mean? In this fight, I think Whittaker, a lot of what he was doing was being ignored. I'm not sure if I scored the fight for Whittaker, guys. Like I think I had the first 3 rounds for Adesanya, the last 2 for Whittaker, but there is that argument that second round could go to Whittaker. So I don't think it's like the worst scorecard ever to say 48-47 Whittaker. I think it was either way, personally. But like 50-45, guys, no. Like not in that fight. It was really close. All the rounds were close besides the first, which obviously Adesanya won. For me, I think 48-47 either way is a good card, Marcel. The 2 judges that had it that way had the exact same I had. I think it was the first 3 for Adesanya, the last 2 for Whittaker. That's what I had too. Mike Beltran's scorecard was shit. I'm just going to say it right now. Both his scorecards were complete garbage on this. Like, I don't understand why in Texas they have to ref and judge. Like, that seems really stupid to me because aren't we like at the point in the sport now, Marcel, in 2022 where someone does one job, one does the other? Like, it seems hard to like ref a fight and then judge the next fight. Both his scorecards were terrible. 49-46 is not on itself a bad scorecard, but the thing is, he gave no credit at all to Whittaker for those last 4 rounds. Like, you have to give him at least 1 round, if not 2. You know what I mean, Marcel? And the 1 round he gave him was in round number 2. So he didn't give him the 4th round where he had Adesanya in the backpack, or the 5th where obviously he won that last round. I didn't like that scorecard. And also the Ronnie Lawrence fight where there was 5 knockdowns. He didn't even give a 10-8 round. So that makes no sense to me. That guy needs to be retrained as a judge. Great ref. I'm just saying, guys, like, call it like it is. I'm not going to sit here every week and say Mike Beltran's the best ref and then not say he's not a great judge, because to me, those 2 are very questionable scorecards. Not the final score, but the way he got there. And again, in a fight with 5 knockdowns, you got to have a 10-8 round somewhere in that fight. Anyways, I like I said, I'm fine with Adesanya winning, but I just feel like Marcel, I feel like he's kind of getting overrated, Marcel. Like, he's the number 2 pound-for-pound guy. He's looking human to me. I don't know. Like, he lost to Blachowicz last year. Everyone completely gives him a pass on that fight. We completely give him a pass on losing 2 fights ago. I don't know why. Like, I don't get it, really. Like, I feel like Adesanya is above criticism for some reason. The moment you start criticizing this guy, it's like, no, he's amazing. Why are you criticizing him? It's really weird, Marcel. I don't know if you've ever seen that, but, like, everything I said that was somewhat critical was just ripped apart by his fans. And I get it, guys. Like, he's a great fighter. He really is one of the best fighters in the world now, and probably will ever be. But I think there are better guys right now, pound for pound. That's my honest opinion. I think Usman's obviously the best guy right now. But I think I got like Peter Yan, Francis Ngannou, probably. You know what I mean? Like Charles de Oliveira. I think those guys, Volkanovski too. I think those guys right now are pound for pound doing more, and they're finishing guys more and more impressive, in my opinion. So don't get me wrong, I love Adesanya, but he lost 2 fights ago. People forget that, and he just edged by Whittaker. He edged by Romero. It's not like, I was talking to my fiance. She's a fan. She watches every weekend, but she's more of like not a hardcore fan like us, Marcel. She's like a casual fan. She likes Adesanya, but she said to me the other day, what's wrong with him? The last time he looked really good was against Paulo Costa, and I'm like, you know what? You're actually right. And it was like 2 years ago when he looked really, really, truly good, Marcel. So I'm not sure about you, but I'm kind of disappointed with the way the guy's been fighting lately. Like, I don't know. Like, he's good. Don't get me wrong, guys, but he barely won this fight. He barely won. He's lucky he won this fight. It was a good fight, but he's lucky he won. Give me your thoughts on the fight and just Adesanya, because honestly, man, I feel like people just love this dude so much that they exempt him from any faults he has,
Adesanya is too busy with those kind of stuff the whole damn time, with looking flashy, with looking cool inside the octagon. And his fans love that for some reason, And I'm not really from the antics and that kind of stuff. I think he did a great job in the first round where he knocked down Whittaker, and he clearly won that round. But it's literally the only clear round he won in that fight, Yep. Whittaker won the 5th round clearly, in my opinion. 2, 3, and 4 were up for the grabs. I had the second round 50-50, 3rd round Adesanya, 4th round Whittaker. So 2-2, I think 48-47 for Whittaker was possible, 48-47 for Adesanya was possible, 49-46 was also possible, if you only give Whittaker the 5th round, Yeah. So the thing is that many people are swayed by the way, and it is a very smart thing, how Adesanya acts inside the octagon. He acts like he's in total charge. He is above the other fighters. That's how he acts, and it's a very smart move because of the flashy style he has and the good stand-up, the kicks, and also we got to give him praise for getting taken down and standing up,
Yeah.
because of the stand-up and the flashiness what he shows, he can sway people into thinking that he's dominating a fight while he's not dominating a fight, while he's in a competitive fight. And that's a smart thing, what he does, And Bisping completely swayed in that way for Adesanya, It was really annoying.
Think if you're like a UFC commentator, I should say, like you have to see all those punches Robert Whittaker was landing. Like he landed so many punches were completely ignored by the commentating team. Go ahead.
The thing is, what really bothers me is that they're going to give their scorecards during the broadcast, and they do it all the time. Anik is probably the only one who didn't do it. And the thing is, in my opinion, can we go back to the Mike Goldberg, Joe Rogan time when they actually gave commentary about the fight, and they had Eddie Bravo after each round.
I loved Eddie Bravo before the fights back in the day. I thought it was great. Perfect. They need to have that again. They do need that. Yeah,
that's perfect. Ask it Trevor Whitman if you want. Ask it Dean Thomas.
I'll do it.
yeah. Ask it Adam Martin. But ask somebody. But don't let these guys. And Cormier always acts like he's at a barbecue or somewhere in a cafe and he's talking. I mean, it's a job. It's like Adam is journalist. I'm trying to do my journalist job on a serious note, and commentary is also a job. It's not just a side gig where you can be like, you got to be professional, and Bisping wasn't professional last on Saturday during that main event, in my opinion, and Cormier has more of those kind of examples, but the thing is, you can't be biased in something. And then Bisping goes after the fight, goes on Twitter saying like this, and that. And I didn't, dude, you say pretty much he was
the whole fight. 25 minutes. I was scratching. Sometimes I watch the fight, right? And I'm like, the commentary is just not, it's not what I'm seeing. You know what I mean? And that will happen because you're not always going to see what everyone else is seeing in the sport. You know what I mean, Marcel? But it was so different than what was going on the screen that I had to say something about it. You know what I mean?
Do you remember when they praised Adesanya against Blachowicz, and then in the footage of the pre-fight for Blachowicz against Teixeira, they put on the Joe Rogan clip in the promo for Blachowicz while he actually was saying it about Adesanya to make Blachowicz. It's like so stupid, And I mean, the thing is, if you're not 100%. invested in what's going on, and I don't like to criticize fighters, but you got to apply the rules when you're scoring a fight, and
Okay.
not what you think. It's cool.
I agree.
You know what I mean?
Let me get these comments, and then I want to go through the stats with you guys. Again, I do think Adesanya won 48-47, but I just want to go through the stats just because it's going to show you how close this fight really is, okay?
Yeah.
And again, we don't get the stats till after the fight, right? Like, I mean, they pop up somewhat during the fight, but not really. Like, and judges don't have that. So it's not like I'm watching. I don't look at the stats during the fight. I look at it after to see if what I thought was actually happening. You know what I mean, Marcel? And it was in this case. It was a really close fight. Let me just get these comments, guys, and then I'll get it. Okay, so Beezer's talking about we'll talk about William Knight after. Judges should have any contact with fighters, so using refs. I agree completely. It's really weird. Thank you. No problem. He's smart tactical, going to fight, risk getting knocked out for sure. But I'm just saying, like, you're right, Owen. We're right, but no one's criticizing him actually for the fighting technical at all. We're just saying that the fight was close. I think that's all we're saying. It was nice of Rogan to interrupt. I know, right? He says the guy had a broken hand when he didn't, right? I also I love John Nick. I thought it was a little strange. I asked Cole, a really good friend of mine, like, did you think it was strange that he was answering his phone during the main event? He said, no, it's kind of normal, isn't it? I'm like, is it? Like, to have a phone out? Like, I thought that would be something that happened in pocket, but
I mean, Dana said after the on the presser that it was complete BS.
I know about the whole Rogan. Yeah, we'll get into that later. Whittaker and Strickland. I would love that fight, Sweet Times. It's a great fight. I think UFC isn't having anyone score fights to invite more drama, possibly. But I mean, Bisping just, he's a good commentator, actually, I think, Owen, but I just think sometimes like the scorecards are a little off sometimes with Bisping. Like, I think he needs to retrain himself a little bit on the rules.
The thing
he's a bad commentator or a bad guy. That's the thing. Like, he's going to be like, I'm a fighter. I know how this fight scored. You do, but you should I reread the rules once in a while too, just because it's nice to get a refresher, Marcel. And the rules do change over time too, guys. Remember that.
The thing is, if you see, for example, Cormier always heavily favors takedowns when even there isn't anything done with the takedown. You know what I mean? So and that's because he's basically, he comes from a wrestling background. So that's important.
And the judges will have that bias too, right? Like, a judge could have a wrestling or striking background. They might be biased towards that. I think even like fans, fight or whatever, like everyone's gonna have that inherent bias. But at the end of the day, there's certain rules of the way we scored the fights, and I feel like they were ignored sometimes. Anyways, let's look at the stats. And again, guys,
I saw that.
It's easy to look at it after fact, right? So it's close. I mean, first round, obviously, Adesanya won, right? Doubled in strikes. Knockdown. No one is denying that. That round is easy to score. The second round, 16-12 is not a big difference. And then Whittaker had a takedown. Now, I don't think he did much with a takedown. That's my thing, right? He got it really late. I thought Adesanya did more in that first 4 minutes, and that it was too hard for Whittaker to overcome. That's why I scored that round for him. Third round, Adesanya had more takedowns. Again, Whittaker had a takedown late. Or sorry, more significant strikes, guys. Sorry. Whittaker had a takedown late, but he didn't do anything with it. So again, I'd give that round to him. Like, the second round's closer in my opinion, right? Fourth round. You look at the fourth round, Whittaker had more strikes landed, and he had a takedown, had that backpack control. That's his round. That is his round, guys. That's his round. In the fifth round, Adesanya had 3 more strikes landed. It's not really a huge difference. And then Whittaker had the takedown. But he had 1 minute and 38 of control. So for me, it's like 1 minute and 38 of control probably outweighs those 3 extra strikes he landed.
Yeah,
so again, 2 of the judges had 4 and 5 for Whittaker, excuse me. That's what I had. I thought the 2 other judges I agree completely with. First 3 and then bottom 2. Again, you can make that argument for the second round, but
that was the decisive round. Many people say the decisive round was the fourth round. I think it was the second.
Yeah, it was. It probably was. Now that I look at it, right? So again, very close fight. And I kind of agree with this guy saying, like, in a close fight like that, you're right. If it's that close, that these judges, how close of attention are they paying? I'm paying super close attention to every fight, right? But are they? I don't know. Like, they might miss some of these strikes, and if it's that close, they can, go the other way very easily and just say, make a quick argument. It's not like, again, these are really tight rounds, but I just think at this level, you have to be a really, really good judge to judge these fights, because it's just people's lives are on the line, Marcel, right? And their livelihoods. Again, I'm okay with the scorecard, but I think it is worth diving deep into this one a little bit more. What?
I think it's also the thing, like, these judges still don't have video in front of them. They still have to watch from one side of the octagon.
That's hard.
I don't get that.
See them like this or like this, right?
Yeah,
like
I don't get that. It's so stupid.
I think in Nevada, I think they have a TV in front of them.
You're sure, because I saw sometimes. I wasn't Houston this time, of course.
Houston,
but
I mean, Texas. I understand where they're going to Texas, but
Houston, we had a problem.
Yeah, when you come here, there's issues every time, guys. There's issues, and it's like, it gets old talking about, but like every time. We'll get into those awful scorecards in a second.
Oh, God.
Anyways, overall, I mean, listen, Adesanya did what he had to do. He won the fight. You won me some money. I had him by decision, so I'm happy with it. But I'm just saying, like, I expected a little bit more. You know, Marcel, I don't think it's bad for me to say I expected a little bit
why
more.
not?
He did enough to win, but it was like he just did enough to win, Marcel. You know what I mean? Like
it's like many of those champions when they are eventually getting 2 or 3 title defenses, they're going to play it more safe. They do just enough to win the fight.
He started doing the same thing. He was doing the same thing at the end of his career, and I understand it. You have to win fights. Remember, Izzy lost last year to Jan. He knows what losing is like. It sucks, and he's won both his fights since then.
Yeah,
I favor Hamza over Izzy. I mean, dude, I think it's a very interesting matchup, right, Marcel? Like,
should
he might be the guy that has the kryptonite, right?
Should I say something crazy? I think Colby Covington is smart, and he goes to middleweight. He can challenge Adesanya for a title.
See,
and I mean for real.
Colby, I'm just not sure how big he is because he kept saying like Dustin Poirier's as big as me. And Dustin's like a former featherweight, right? So
yeah, but for real, man, his wrestling can do it, and I think his striking is coming together as well. He's not going to get a third chance with Usman anytime soon, so it might be a smart idea. I'm just thinking out loud, right?
Yeah, no, for sure. And this guy's saying the 8 Loco is saying he thinks that UFC producers are telling the commentators who to like promote almost. I mean, I feel like that's. I'm not sure if they're like they might be specifically telling. I can't say for sure. But I think it's pretty obvious that they like Adesanya. They just gave him a huge contract. They want to promote the guy, but you got to be fair. Whittaker's I feel like Whittaker just got no credit in this fight. Like it sucks, right? Like that was one of his better performances. He lost, but it was still a great fight. And I just think he didn't get a lot of credit for it. Anyways, I think we're good for this.
Plus, one more thing.
You want to say?
Yeah, one more thing. Yeah. People were laughing that Whittaker was saying, like, I think I won this fight. Guys, you got to see it like this, man. If a fighter fights a close fight, he always thinks that he won the fight because his strikes in his mind were done more damage and were more significant than the strikes he absorbed from the guy who he fought, you know? Yeah. So that's not a weird thing, you know, that you think you won the fight. But it was close. It wasn't a robbery at all. I think it could have gone either way. So I think I'm okay with this, you know?
Yeah, the decision's fine. It really could have gone either way. But I think Adesanya, like I said, edged in the first 3 rounds. All right, co-main event. Bang, Marcel got this underdog right. Tai Tuivasa, guys. Woo! Got the shoey, did everything. I mean, listen, the first round was sketchy as hell. I mean, the guy was eating bombs against the fence, and I'm like, oh man, this is not good. But that second round, you know, Lewis, he's like I said, guys, great fighter. But you know, last week, man, I kept telling you guys, I was warning people, like the guy's chin is not that great. It really isn't, Marcel. 6 knockout losses now. You know, Ty's only been knocked out once. I don't know, man. Again, Lewis is a good fighter, and he has amazing wins on his record. Logano, Blades, Doc has great wins. But he has these type of fights all the time too, where he just lays an egg. And this was another one of those fights. You know what though, Marcel? I think this is a really good result for the UFC, man, because they have a brand new contender now. A guy who fans love, a guy who has huge knockout power. You could give Tai anyone at this point. You could give him a title shot. You can give him Gone. You can give him Stipe. Anyone really, I think, at this point, because he just beat the number 3 guy, knocked him out. It's a huge win. Huge win for him. I made some money. Hope you guys are happy with it. Where were you, Marcel? Give me your thoughts on the fight. It was a hell of a fight. Great fight as long as it lasted.
Yeah, we had an amazing talk about this one after the fight. It was a great performance by Tai, man. He took some heavy shots in the first round from Lewis, and he didn't win out. He took them, and the second round, beautiful place elbow. I saw people saying on Twitter like Lewis faked the knockout. I was like, what the hell?
No.
What's wrong with you? You know, he's not going to fake a knockout in front of his own crowd.
Dude. That's all it is every time.
Yeah.
If you lose your bet, it must be fixed, right? Of course.
Yeah, of course it's not fixed. Yeah, Tuivasa, man, he took this huge opportunity, man. I think he's 13th ranked, and he will probably coming into the top 5 tomorrow. So the only thing what worries me for Tai is that the top 5 is really a difficult thing for him, I think, because the Lewis fight was kind of a 50-50 thing.
That's what I'm saying. It's all matchups. Every matchup's different. This was a great matchup for Tai.
Exactly.
Really was.
It was, because Lewis is also a guy who goes for the knockout, and Tai is as well. If you look at the division further, not saying the champion, for example, but Miocic, very complete guy, you know, Cyril Gane, stays on the outside, has also pretty good ground game, although people don't give him credit anymore for it because of the Ngannou fight. You got Volkov, stylistically super difficult guy to fight as well. Blades, wrestler, even more awful, you know? So, I mean, it's a super difficult fight he's going to get next. But, hey, we'll see. I mean, I didn't expect him to win against Lewis. You did. So, hey, maybe sky's the limit for the dude, you know? We'll see. And let's talk about how he came back after 3 losses. He was on almost cut from the UFC, and then he wins 5 in a row. I mean, all with stoppage. Amazing.
You know what? Now that I'm looking back at his run. I have picked almost every fight of his career correctly, which is great. Actually, I think I picked them all correctly. So this is a guy I have a really good read on, guys, for some reason. There's some fighters that I suck at picking their fights. But this dude, I'm looking back at his record. I've picked every fight he's had correctly, Marcel. Nice. All of them, including the losses and the wins. So although I think the Arlovsky fight, he should have probably lost that one, right? Remember how close that fight was? But other than that, I mean, I remember when he went in the skate, I'm like, these are bad matchups for him. And now, he's been on a roll. I think there's improvements made, Marcel. The grappling, I know he got taken down, but he got back up, right? It was good. Again, it's all matchups. He's fighting another striker, guy with I'm telling you guys right now, Derrick Lewis's chin is not great. He's got 6 knockout losses. It's just not great, Tai's a tougher dude, and he out-toughed him. But, fights Stipe Miocic, Marcel, I mean, that's a horrible fight for him, isn't it? Like, he's probably going to take it down. Gone seems like a bad fight. But again, he has that power, and he could put you out with one punch. So, I mean, I'm just happy for this guy. I really like it. I just think he's a really likable fighter, Marcel. Like, he's just a great guy. And the walkout song was amazing, right? So, it was a good one.
What's that again? Cyndi Lauper, right?
Yeah, Cyndi Lauper. Girls just want to have fun. Let me get these comments. Daniel thought it's an oddly comment to Tuivasa. Me too. I liked him a lot in this fight. Timing. Yeah, it could be timing too. I understand. Ngannou. I don't know what's going on with friends. I mean, obviously, there's more to the story with the behind the scenes with the contracts. Wynn doesn't like the Shuey thing, but he's going to give Tai some credit for moving camps. I mean, he has looked good. Props to Tai. Guy's good. Good head movement too in this fight for the most part, except when he was against the fence. But he showed Marcel, those were bombs Lewis was landing on him against the fence. And I thought for a second he was going to go out. Go ahead, Marcel. You want to say something?
I had to watch the fight back completely because when the fight started, I had to go to the toilet, man. I was like, no, not right now, And I had to go. And then you DM'd me. I was like, okay, cool. But I didn't saw it. I was refreshing my Twitter, man. I didn't saw it. And then when I came back downstairs, there was the interview. I was like, damn. So I watched it immediately back. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it was a fun fight. I mean, it was a fun fight for as long as the last two. A Loco thinks that if Dawkins beats Blades, Tai could beat him. Yeah, I mean, that would be a good fight. Again, Dawkins. I think Dawkins' chin isn't great either, guys. I'll be honest with you. He's a great boxer, good power, but he's been knocked out a couple times too. I think Tai's toughness is going to win him fights against guys that are, pretty good fighters, but that have that slight crack in their chin, Marcel. Mm-hmm. Now, speaking of a guy with a slight crack in his chin, Derek Brunson, Marcel, we talked about last week, if he can't get the takedowns, which he did in the first round, if he can't get them, the fight stays on the feet, he's going to be in trouble. Now, I'll say this. He landed a big punch in that first round, dropped Cannonier. As someone who bet on Cannonier, I was like, oh, shit, this isn't good. But once again, Cannonier, man, great cardio, great takedown defense in the second round, and the huge power with the elbows and the knockout. It's a bad win it's a bad loss for Brunson because, honestly, it pretty much eliminates any chance he'll ever get for fighting for the belt. But for Cannonier, I mean, this is a massive win, and it probably puts him next in line for the belt. So it's interesting, right? One guy's going to probably fight for the belt. One guy's probably going to retire. And it's not like he has to retire, but Brunson said before this fight, I'll be honest, Marcel, as soon as he said, I have 2 fights left. You don't want to hear that from a fighter. You know what I mean? Like, you just don't want to hear that. So it made me even feel better about Cannonier. Did it give you some pause when he said that? Did you think about switching the pick? Did you think about it?
No, not to be honest, I didn't. But I think it's a huge red flag, because if you do that, the UFC also might consider when you're winning not giving you a title shot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, he started well, Brunson. He took him down twice, I think. Then he knocked him down. Almost had the choke, but yeah, he bad luck for him that the round was over, and good luck for Cannonier,
Yeah.
But the second round, he looked completely off. I think he was heavily gassed somehow, and Cannonier took over, and some brutal elbows. That even I think the corner threw in the towel.
Yeah, they did, which is rare. We should talk about that.
Yeah.
You don't see that often. Was it Henry Hoof that threw the towel in? I believe it was, right?
One of the 2 coaches, so it could be Henry Hoof, but I'm not sure if it was Henry, actually.
I mean, I think it's good because, honestly, was it Kerry Hadley was the ref? He took, like, a few extra elbows he didn't need to eat in the ground. I mean, it was brutal. Like, think about Derek, like, you're lying on the ground half unconscious, and Derek Cannonier's on top of you going bang! Like, stop the fight! You want to kill the dude, man.
It was almost like Blades against Overeem, right?
Oh my god, that was brutal. Remember when he got up and his face was just all cut open? Oh god. Elbows on the ground are just so brutal. And it was nice to see back-to-back elbow wins. I love elbows. When I trained Muay Thai, like, one of my favorite things was the elbow, like, I just love it myself. So one of my favorite moves, always, and we got 2 elbow knockouts in this card. All right, so anyways, Cannonier title shot, right? Like, I think, I would guess,
yeah,
right?
for sure. I mean, I think Cannonier might have been fortunate that Adesanya won the fight, because if Whittaker would have won, we would have seen the
trilogy,
third.
and then they probably would have Cannonier and Strickland, probably, right?
Yeah, but I think
Yeah.
Cannonier deserves it. But it's a very, I mean, Dana said Cannonier is next, so it might be Strickland. So, you know.
It's interesting. Not like could you like someone said Strickland versus Whittaker. I'd like that fight if Whittaker wants to fight again. I think was it you saying last week I could see Whittaker retiring? You were saying that, right?
Yeah.
I think it's possible. Like he looked in good spirits after the fight, but he might go home. He's got, I think, 4 kids. I think he's a young guy. He might just be like, you know what? I did enough. I don't even want to do this anymore. I'm not sure. Like, because he got so close, and it's like, you know what? We've seen this a few times now. How about Colby and Usman, right? First fight was a knockout. Second fight, barely lost. Rose and Whaley, first fight a knockout, lost. Second fight, barely lost. Seems to happen in these rematches, eh, Marcel? Like, these fighters are so elite, they can make these adjustments that almost get them over the hump, but they just can't get there, and it's tough. Brunson said he retire after his next fight. If he gets past Uriah Hall, Andre needs next sense. He said that before he lost the fight in brutal fashion, though, John. So I wouldn't be surprised if he retired now. What is that?
Mario Bautista has a new fight against Jay Perrin this week.
Are you kidding me? What? All right. I didn't research it yet. I was going to do it tonight, but I was just doing the opening odds, and I was kind of liking Bautista in that fight. He was like a pick and price against who was it again? The original Khalid Taha. I thought Bautista was going to take that one, so I got to look at this one now. Brunson tried to take a long layoff. Yeah, Pereira. Yeah. No, well, they're in different divisions, right? Or you're saying Alex Pereira? Okay, Alex Pereira. Yeah. It's not saying Michelle. Alex. Fight was like wait and bro. Kind of was actually, wasn't it? Once after he kind of got tired and fight was on the feet, got knocked out. All right, Hernando, nice call on this one, Marcel. I got to give you credit because you know what? This was a weird fight, and also the fact they got switched up at the last minute to the main card was so strange, eh? That was really strange.
It's like they listened to Alexander Hernandez complaining that normally they never do something like that, listening to somebody complaining about it. So yeah.
I'm a little confused why that happened, but anyways, also this guy saying Jay Perrin. Yeah. So Jay Perrin, he fought Dwight Joseph on Contender Series in 2019. I don't believe that guy was signed. He is a former Bellator fighter, and he's on a 2-fight win streak in CES and Cage Titans. So he has a win over Johnny Campbell and Kin Moy. Don't know a lot about the guy. I'm gonna have to look through I'm gonna watch his tape tonight for tomorrow. I really don't know much about him. I can't remember a Contender Series fight at the moment. I don't even know who's Dwight Joseph. Actually, now that I think about it, who's that?
I
thought it was Dwight Granford. Dwight Joseph. Who is this dude? Okay, so he won the fight and he's only fought once since then. It's weird. He's undefeated. He's not signed by anyone. That's really weird.
He was supposed to fight the Ashik Ajim guy in CES.
Yeah. So that's supposed to happen. It's not going to happen now. He's supposed to fight in 2 weeks, so he has been training. We know that. Okay, let's go to the next fight here. Like I said, Mackenzio Hernandez. Sorry, nice pick. And like I said, I mean the guy's rear naked choke. I said it last week. I'm like, is it going to surprise if he submits him? No, it didn't really surprise me. It surprised me how easy it was though. He dominated this fight, Marcel, for the most part. Like he knocked Hernandez down and then finished him basically. I don't know if he knocked him down, but he hurt him bad with the punches. Hernandez now, Marcel, a lot of stoppage losses, and I saw some. I think it was on Instagram or Twitter, and he said like he's got to like think about his future. He hasn't been able to put together a win since his debut, and now he's 5-4 in the UFC. I mean, he'll probably get another fight. He's super young and everything, but I mean, he's talking about retirement at age 29. That's kind of crazy, right?
Yeah. Listen, man. No disrespect to Hernandez, but I always felt like the Darius fight was a fluke. I said it for years.
You have been. I'll give you 100% credit. I remember arguing about that once. I think you're right about that now in hindsight, right?
Yeah. I mean,
also, I still don't know if Darius's chin is amazing, though, guys, because I remember betting on him against Ramsey Nijo one time in 2014, and he got knocked out brutally, and I was like, fuck. And so the chin's always worried me a little bit, but you're right. I mean, looking back, the results kind of fluky, right? So good call on that one, Marcel.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I thought it would have been a super close fight. I had difficulties with picking this one. You remember that?
Yeah.
I went with Moicano. You were also not sure what going with Hernandez, but you picked Hernandez. Yeah. I mean, it was a difficult fight to pick. And if you look at the fight, I think it started very, very evenly. But at a certain moment, Moicano came more loose, in the second round he completely took over. Great punches and a great finish for a rear naked choke, and I think probably the post-fight speech was even better,
I love the post-fight speech. He did get a bonus though, because usually when they do ask, they don't get it. Now this guy 16 wins, Marcel, 7 by decision, 9 by submission, and all 9 I believe are by rear naked choke, all 9 of them. So he does have an amazing rear naked choke. Go ahead.
people forget this guy beat Calvin Kattar
And
by
Cub
using
Swanson too.
by using a lot of leg kicks as well. And also
Yeah.
he almost beat Brian Ortega. He was in front 2 rounds, I think.
Dude, I remember people were picking him to beat Aldo back in the day, like a few years ago. A lot of people thought he was going to win that fight, you know?
Yeah, he had those 2 big losses against Aldo and against Chan Sung Jung back to back, you know. And after that, he pretty much fell down. Then he lost to Fiziev. So many people were writing him off. But dude is good, man. You know, he's a good fighter.
I still got questions about the chin. I really do.
Same.
But
I do.
You know, Hernandez was not the right guy to pick against. So it was in hindsight, not a great pick. Now, the first fight, I mean, I feel like this was a pretty easy fight to call. Bobby Green against Nazareth hack press. He won 30-27. Bobby Green by decision was always like the most obvious outcome here, and it cashed at plus 140, Marcel. I think this was a pretty easy fight to call. What do you think? Bobby Green looked great again.
Is there someone who doesn't love Bobby Green? I mean, man, the dude, I tweeted out, I remember writing an article about him in 2018 or 2019 that he was retiring, you know, and he came back on that decision. And since he won 5 out of 7 fights, and the 2 fights he lost, he was super competitive in, you know, so he has looked good and amazing, man. I mean, his striking, his distance, keeping distance and striking his jab is money every time. He completely, with his jab, the whole time he went through Hakparas defense, you know, and he touched him up. I think Hakparas did well in the first round. It was pretty even, although I still gave Green that round. Second, third round, completely Green, you know. Very good performance, very complete performance, man. And I mean, Green, how can you not like the dude? You know, he's a veteran. He comes up, he shows, he's a showman, you know, he's an entertaining guy. But he, with his show, he also shows you that he can fight and that he is willing to go hard in the fight. And dude has cardio for days, man. I love watching him. I'm really, really impressed.
Yeah, he's looked good. And he's won 2 straight fights. He did lose to Fiziev, but again, it was close. And the Moises fight was close. I mean, those are close decisions, right? So really, you know, he could be on like a 7-fight win streak right now had those decisions gone his way. You know, Marcel, like, guy's solid. Go ahead.
Also, what I love, he never tries to overdo something, going for that knockout. He lets it come. He lets it flow, you know. And when it comes, it comes. If it doesn't come, it doesn't come. But it's not boring to watch. It's super entertaining, you know.
Yeah.
You hear I'm a big Green fan.
I like Green too. I've always liked him. Dude, me and James had him on the Party Shop podcast in 2013. After he knocked out James Krause, a lot of people were like, you know, upset about the knockout because they thought it was a blow to the body,
I remember that.
Like, it was kind of controversial. Anyways, we had him on the podcast after, and we got, you know, tell him the side of the thing, and it was great. It was one of the better interviews. I'm not sure if those old podcasts are available. It was great. And, you know, he's like, I remember he said to me, he goes, I'm a fan of you now, man, because of the interview. He really liked me. So, you know, me and him, I don't know if he still, I don't know if he remembers me because it's been 9 years, but I still have him on Facebook as a friend and on Twitter. So I always have that respect for Bobby Green from almost a decade ago when we interviewed him and where we were like, hey, you know, man, like we're fans of you. And he said, we're fans of you to me and James. It was awesome. It was really cool. And you always remember that stuff, Marcel. You know what I mean? Like those kind of things stick out. Yeah. Yeah. So it was really cool. The way Darius get close to UFC belt, Derrick Hernandez knockout. Yeah, that was a brutal loss. But again, he's fighting Israel. He wins, he gets the title shot, right? Mackenzio Green is a good fight. I mean, it makes sense. They're both on the same. It makes so much sense. Mackenzio Grisham good too. Yeah, Hack Process is not doing. You know, and I don't think Ali's doing his fighter a service right now because he's giving him these really hard fights. Like, you know, like he's got to give him a layup in this next fight. Mackenzio Green, Grisham hybrid. Yeah, I know that. Herbert's got some visa issues. All right, let's go to the next fight, Marcel. Andre Arlovski defeats Jared Van Der. I mean, it was pretty competitive, but I thought Arlovski won the first 2 rounds. It was close, though. Definitely a close fight. 29-28 is a good scorecard. Again, we'll talk about Robert Alexander in a second, but he had it for Van Der, which, you know, the second round was kind of close, I guess. But again, it's just a weird – it seemed like one of those lazy scorecards where the first round one guy wins, the second round you're like, it was close, I'll just tie it up. You know what I mean? Like, we talked about this all the time, Marcel. I hate when they do this. Like,
me too.
It's the laziest way to score a fight. This fucker needs to be taken behind a barn and got rid of him. This guy never needs to judge a fight again in the UFC. We'll talk about the other fight in a sec, but this guy has no idea what he's doing. Let's just be honest. Arlovski won this fight. Go ahead, Marcel. Give me your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, Arlovski won the first 2 rounds. What can you say more? And Van Der came back in the third.
Yeah.
That judge, complete fucking idiot. I mean, what the hell? You know.
Let's just go to it. Let's just go to the next fight. So we're going to talk about it.
Yeah.
Might as well. Casey O'Neill defeats Roxanne Modafferi, split decision. I mean, boom. Are you fucking kidding me, guys? How is this a split decision? This was 30-27 for O'Neill. That was the way to score this fight. She won all 3 rounds easily. pieced apart Roxy in the feet, landed way more significant strikes. The takedowns Roxy had were with like 30 seconds left. They did no damage afterwards. No submission attempts, nothing. This is a clear 30-27, I think. Maybe you could give one round to Roxy. I think the third round, maybe, like if you're super generous. But there's no way she won the first 2 rounds. No chance. And even the third round, I don't think you'd have to make a really convincing argument to me because she was just double up in strikes the whole fight, Marcel. How did she get a scorecard? I'm really confused by this one, but Robert Alexander has no business ever judging in the UFC after these scorecards. This was fucked. Are you kidding me? And here's the thing, guys. Someone out there bet on her to win a unanimous decision. They got completely screwed by this dumbass because it's a split decision instead. You know what I mean? So this guy needs to be investigated because how the hell do you have a scorecard with Roxanne Modafferi? And I'm sorry, guys, if you bet on Roxy and you said, oh, well, she lost a split. It was not a good bet, and she did not win this fight at all. It was 30-27 O'Neal all day. Every media member had it that way. These guys, really weird judging in this fight, but that 29-28 Roxy is an all-time bad scorecard. So bad. Give me your thoughts, man.
Yeah, what can I say, man? It's almost like the Jack Hermanson against Sean Strickland 48-47. I mean, this is not a sport about being generous to a fighter who retires. You know what I mean? He could have cost Casey O'Neal's undefeated record. You know, this idiot, if there was another idiot, because I think all 3 scorecards were bad in my opinion.
Look at this. All 3 of them are shit. Look, 84% of the fans had it 30-27.
It was.
Every media member had 30-27. It was like one of the easiest fights you could score ever. And these, again, the third round, you could make an argument. I don't like it, but you could, you know. But the second round?
Yeah.
Sorry, the first round?
Yeah.
The first round? How?
The thing is, these guys probably also know that Roxanne's last fight, and they were like, let's be a little bit generous. But you can't score a fight like that. You have to score a fight in a non-biased way, you know? And, man, I mean, listen here. There was another good example.
I know, it was another fight where he had it for Lewis. It was close.
Latifi should have, and many media members.
No, I think I might have scored that fight for Ilya. And that's why I said, guys, like, Derrick sucks at fighting in Houston for some reason. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he barely got by that fight. Anyways, this guy sucks. I'm not going to give this guy more time. But the thing is, Marcel, I had to tweet.
He's a rocket scientist.
That's fucked. I know Aaron said that, right? That's insane. But like I said, Marcel, I know you retweeted this because I know you agree with me. You're fucking over people's careers. Like you're destroying people's lives. Because if one round from these scorecards, if one other round went to Roxy's way, then it would have tanked O'Neal's undefeated record. The hype's gone. She does the win bonus. It's so bad for someone's career when this happens. So thankfully, you know, these guys did have it for O'Neal. And you know, I'm gonna get your thoughts on this.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been watching MMA for like 15 years, right? And Roxy's always been, you know, one of the long tenured female fighters in the sport. Been watching it for years, right?
Yeah.
What's with the media love affair for? Like, what's with it, Marcel? Like, I think it's way too biased. Like, I think the media is way too biased towards her this whole week, saying how much they like her and like how great she is, and like, you know, let's give her fight of the night, like give her a bonus to end her career. No, let's not do that, and let's not give her a round she didn't deserve to win. She's a tough girl. She had a really good career overall, but she did not win this fight, and she did not deserve a bonus at all. So I'm just saying, Marcel, there's a huge love affair in the media. It's like some media members really get on these fighters, certain fighters, and it's like Roxy's universally loved. I think she's a good fighter, but I don't love her. She's just a fighter to me. Stop being biased, guys. Go ahead, Mark.
I got to be honest, man. That's also really bothering me. I think I said it in the how do you say that in the chat.
Yeah.
In the chat with
Discord.
James last time, the Discord chat with James. Many, mostly new media, you can be media and rooting for fighters.
Yeah,
you can, you know. And I root for fighters, and the how do you say that back in the day. But I wasn't media back then, you know, and it's almost like 10 years ago, you know. But you can do that, and I see it in many. For example, when a fight gets announced, I see guys like in their story or on Instagram, "Let's go," blah blah blah. You can't do that. It's stupid. You know, you can't be biased. You can be a fan of somebody, but keep it private, you know, or you can tell your best friends, you know, Adam knows who I like, for example, you know, but I will never, that will never influence my, my post or my work I put out. You can't let that influence your work you put out.
I just think there's this huge love affair for Roxy. I just don't understand it really. Why? Because she gave you guys a nice interview. Come on, guys. Like, what were the other fighters that did interviews with you? You know what I mean? Like, I just think it's weird.
Nothing disrespectful. I think Roxy is great. This is for me. It's an example in general. So I think you guys, and I mean, it's the media got to be not biased at all. And I understand that Roxy gets a little bit more media because of its last fight, but Casey really got like almost nothing, I think.
And people, the crowd booed her afterwards. Yeah. Why? Because she won the fight and pretty much dominated. I don't get it. I'm really confused by this.
I wouldn't have reacted like Casey did, but I kind of understand it.
She was pissed.
She was pissed, and I kind of understand because she's been respectful to Roxy, in my opinion. So, what can you say about it? I think we said enough about it, to be honest.
I mean, I agree with Glenn. I mean, I would never do the media rankings. I just think it's stupid. Like, they need to have, like I said, I've been saying this for years, guys. Sean Shelby, Mick Maynard, give your fucking rankings. We don't need to see, all due respect, Brian Heminger is another guy, MMA Oddsbreaker, the rankings. I love Brian, great guy, but I'd rather see Mick Maynard's rankings than Brian's. You know what I mean, Marcel? Like, I don't really care what Brian thinks about the rankings.
I mean,
no offense to Brian, because I really like the guy, but I'm just saying.
I think the Beltran rankings are even more awful. I mean, Amy Kaplan is in it. I mean, it can be good. So there are,
I hate using Brian's example, but he does work for our website. So, like, really, I'm not throwing the website under the bus. I'm just criticizing the paneling. I don't like it. And there's only like 10 people doing it too. So the rankings don't mean much, guys. Remember, it's like 10 people, and some of them don't even really cover the sport that full time.
That's a big problem.
To give Brian credit, he actually does cover this. He does know the sport.
He does.
His picks are good. He won the pick pool last year. He knows what he's talking about. But some of these other guys, Marcel, I didn't really know who they were. And I covered the sport for almost 50. Well, not sorry. I've covered the sport for 12 years, not 15. I'm watching 15. Glenn, regular issue Texas. Yeah, I know they suck. Why can't Dana rant about restaurant charges? No idea. Not sure. I don't even know if Dana watches these prelims, though. Let's be honest with you. Like, he's such a busy guy. I don't even think he watches the prelims sometimes, guys. UFC should go to Marcus. I think you're right there too. Like Fight Matrix is a computer system. I think I'm not sure if they're still around, but I know they had it's an unbiased way of looking at the fights because it's numbers, right? Mm-hmm. Remember, guys, facts are facts. I had to argue with the guy today. I said, I'm not. I respect the guy's opinion. I respect anyone his opinion, but I said, Chad Mendes is fighting this weekend. I said, great fighter, but that chin has never been good. And the guy's trying to argue that he had a good chin. I'm like, no, he didn't, dude. No, he doesn't. Like, he's been knocked out a lot. And he's been knocked out by good fighters, but there's a reason he retired twice because, all those knockout losses add up. Anyways, just an example. I was ranked by Belt. That's so funny. This guy was ranked by Belter. Kyler Phillips by submission, Marcel. I called that one, man. Plus 500, plus 550. I mean, hope you guys cashed that one. That was the biggest prop that I hit in this card. And I know some of you guys definitely tailed me on that one. Marcel, it was such an easy fight to call. Phillips was always going to win. But again, the question was, how did he win? And it was, leaning towards the decision there. But as soon as he got the fight through the ground against that triangle armbar, nasty submission. This fight should have been on the main card. No idea why I got bumped down, but great finish by Phillips. Again, Marcel, plus 550. I hope you guys cashed on that one. Give your thoughts.
Yeah, I love Kyler Phillips, man. I think he's a great fighter. I think he should get a top 15 guy next, and I think people forgot what he did to Song Yadong, he won against Song Yadong, and then he lost to Paiva in a fight that could have been a draw, I think. Should have maybe been a draw, and he got taken out of the rankings. Not taken out, he just got bumped out of the rankings because other guys got in it. But dude is good, he has good striking. I like his ground game. And I think the UFC is not heavily invested in him, but they should. I think he has also he has a good personality as well. I think they should be more invested in him. For example, his teammate Sean O'Malley, he gets all the praise, all the highlights. I think Kyler Phillips is a great fighter as well. And I'm really been impressed what I saw from him lately. I think he is a really complete fighter. He only guessed in that Paiva fight, that's pretty much was the problem, I think he looked good against Rojo, but we got to be honest. I think there were not many people picking Rojo in this fight.
No,
I think
no one's picking Rojo, and that's what I'm saying. No. That's why you have to take advantage of fights like this, guys, where one guy's going to win. We knew Kyler Phillips, so how does he win? And that's how you get those big prop numbers, plus 550. And I really hope some of you guys tailed it. I know people were. I know Cole messaged me. He said he hit it, so I'm really happy that some people. Kind of caught on because again, the 4 submission losses to Rojo, that was the way he'd probably lose, right? Litchell, hey buddy, he says Phillips is amazing. Only the weakness is cardio. I agree. I mean, the thing is, like all the moves he does are so explosive, right, Marcel? Like he's such a sorry guys, I had the screen open. He's so explosive, with his finishes. Or not with the finish, just the way he fights. You know what I mean? With the in and out, but the movement, the footwork is beautiful. I can't imagine how good the sparring sessions are to watch between him and Sean O'Malley. Like the footwork must be amazing to watch. The last fight on the televised prelims, Carlos Ulberg defeats Fabio Cherant 30-27. It was a shitty fight, honestly. Cherant needs to be cut. This guy has no business being in the UFC. Just a bad fighter. I mean, this guy's looked terrible in the UFC. I'm not trying to be mean, guys, but not everyone should be in the UFC, and this guy does not belong in the UFC level. I said it before the fight. I said it before his UFC debut. I said it now, Marcel. This guy's done with the UFC. He's going to be released, I think. What do you think?
You did hear what Henry Hoof said against his coach?
What do you say?
Against Ulberg's coach. He said, I'm sorry, guys. Our guy didn't show up.
It was a shit fight. He did nothing. He walked backwards for 15 minutes. It was awful to watch. He's getting caught, Marcel.
I was talking with Dennis, who is a guy from the podcast I do, a Dutch podcast, and he's like, Henry Hoof is very hard to a fighter when he thinks he doesn't do or perform the way he should perform.
He didn't try.
And
he didn't even try.
And he didn't even try. And he was super upset. I think Dennis interviewed Hoof after event, so I will let you know what he actually said about him. But because it's in Dutch. But I mean, Ulberg didn't also look great, but he fought smart. He fought from the outside. He picked his shots, and Cherant didn't do anything there, And so for Ulberg, it was like, I can do this for 3 rounds and I win a decision. That's pretty much what he did, So, I mean, sure, I think Cherant is gone. I feel bad for him, but he is. He lost a Contender Series fight. Then he won the LFA title against Myron Dennis. And then he got signed and lost 3 in a row, where from 2 via knockout, I think. No, 1 submission, 1 knockout, and now the decision, which was very one-sided. So it didn't look good, and he missed weight in one of those 3 fights as well. So it doesn't look good for Cherant. I feel bad for the dude, but hey, man, I mean, I agree with you, Adam. It's probably not. He's not going to come back.
It's not UFC caliber, guys. Not every. Yeah. This is the best. This is the best fighters in the world. And if you're not that level, and this guy's not, you're gone. You know what I mean? So he's out. I could think of, there's got to be like 10 other light heavyweights out there. Like actually in PFL Challenger Series, I was writing the opening odds. Josh Silveira should be in the UFC over this guy. They signed the wrong LFA champion. They should have signed Josh Silveira, not Fabio Cherant. All right, let's go to the prelims, the early prelims. One of the best fights in the card. I mean, could have easily been fight of the night. Ronnie Lawrence defeats Leo Mana Martinez by decision. Again, the scorecard from Mike Beltran is stupid. 29-28. Kind of a lazy scorecard, Mike Beltran. Come on, man. And again, guys, I'm not going to completely blame him because he's reffing and judging at the same time. It's very hard, or fight after fight.
What did you at? I had 29-27.
You know what I had, Marcel? 28-26, I think, because I think I had 3 10-8 rounds or something. Like that. Like, it was really weird. Yeah, because I think you could have the last 2 rounds were 10-8. I think I can't remember what it was, but I have to look back at my scorecard. But I had at least 1 10 round, if not 2, I believe. I think you can make the argument there's 3, but I think the second round, I think for Lawrence was the 10-8.
Yeah.
And then the third round, I think you give 10-8 for Mana. I think you can because let's look at the stats for this one again, guys. It was a great fight. 5 knockdowns. How often do you see that? Yeah, I think 10-8 in the second and third are okay for different fighters, which is insane, right? Go ahead.
Yeah, can you share screen MMA decisions? What the people I want to see.
I want to look at the stats first, and then I'll look at the
for sure.
Score. So the stats. Look at this: 5 knockdowns. So first round, Ronnie Lawrence won the round. Second round, he had 2 knockdowns and 3 takedowns and 4 minutes of control. Obvious 10-8. Third round, 2 knockdowns, guys. 2 knockdowns is huge. Now
he was almost finished.
Yeah, Lawrence did have 2 takedowns, right? Kind of evens it out. I get that, but for me, this number right here is one of the most important numbers you'll find in the fight because I think a knockdown, almost every time you knock a guy down, you're going to win the round. And if you get 2 knockdowns, usually you're getting a 10-8 round. Again, it's MMA, so it's not boxing, so the takedowns come into play. So I'm okay with if you get 10-9, it's understandable. I'm just saying there's an argument you can make for 10-8 round, Marcel, in that third round. You definitely can. So, anyways, Ronnie Lawrence won the fight. No doubt about it. I love this guy. He is an amazing fighter. I didn't know he had the power to drop this dude. Look at the scores. Yeah, so again, I don't like that scorecard, 29-28. It's right here. I don't like it, These are fine. These are good scorecards. And again, if you want to do 20, it'd be 8. So it'd be 28-27, I guess, would be the score. I have no problem with that. Let's see what the fans scored it. Yeah, see, some people did actually have it that way. Everyone had it for Lawrence, obviously, And again, Marcel, most people had 29-27. So that seems to be the most common scorecard in that fight. And I think that's a good scorecard. I'm just saying that third round, you can make an argument for 10-8 for Mana. You can, right?
Yeah.
So because he almost finished him, Marcel. Anyways, great fight. I thought it could have been fight of the night until we got to another fight. We'll talk about it in a second. Jacob Malkoun and AJ Dobson, talk about this one quickly. I mean, I was wrong about this one, guys. I'm going to admit it right now. This was not my, I started off so bad in this card. I was like, oh, fuck, this is going to be one of those bad nights for me. Like, literally, that's what I thought. I was like, oh, no. But then the rest of the night almost went perfectly. So I was like, okay. I ended up, after like going like, 1-4 or 1-3 to start, I went like 10-1 or something to end the card. So it went okay. But my God, like, it didn't start off well. And this fight, I'm not saying I didn't expect Malkoun to use the wrestling if the fight got on the first, because I think we both talked about the cardio being an issue with Dobson. I just thought this guy's chin was not going to hold up, and it did. So got to give this guy credit, man. He gets knocked by Phil Hawes in 18 seconds, comes back and beats Dobson, Abdul Razak Al Hassan, who are hard-hitting guys. So he's really underrated fighter. Give me your thoughts quickly on this one.
Yeah, man. Dobson couldn't prevent the takedown. That was pretty much the deal in the second and third round. Third round, he quit, and he won.
You know what, though? I got to give Malkoun credit for those takedowns, man, because he kept going, Marcel. He doesn't stop, right? Go ahead.
Yeah, but not really the most fan-friendly fight I ever saw, But he got the win, and he did pretty much what he did against Al Hassan, took him down and did what he had to do, Good win for Malkoun. I don't think it brings him much further in the division, because I don't think the UFC is really happy with wins like that. But it's a win, It's a good win. It's a win against an undefeated guy who did look really good in the Contender Series. So, we'll see what's next. He will be probably fighting on another Whittaker card.
Let's give this guy some credit. Against Abdul Razak Al Hassan, 8 of 24 he landed in takedowns. That's really impressive. In 12 minutes of control. In this fight, 6 for 16 with 9 minutes. Like, he doesn't stop coming. This guy's cardio is insane. It's insane, guys. I can't believe how good this guy's cardio is, and his toughness looks like improved somehow. So he's a pretty underrated guy, man. And I've been wrong about him. I think I picked Phil Hawes, so I'm 1-2 on this guy's fights. I'm not great at picking this guy's fights. That's what I'm saying. Like, Tai Tuivasa, I can pick his fights great. This guy's tough to pick. Yeah, Dobson's not bad. I think the first round he was stopping the takedowns, but again, after that. Yeah, it's true, Matthew. You're right, Matthew. You're 100% right. So many fighters getting cut. Yeah, I know, Alberg, you're right. He needed – so many guys got, like, 2 weeks ago, I cut at 0-2. I like that. I'm going to watch PFL. I'm not sure if I'm going to watch PFL. Bellator is on Saturday on the UFC at the same time, which is just stupid. I mean, why would you do that to the fans? I say that all the time, Marcel. All the weeks, all the days of the week, and you pick at the same time and day as UFC, Marcel? This makes no sense. Green's been looking amazing, Matthew. Hope everything's well with you two, man. Let's go to the next fight, Marcel. I mean, this fight was fucking insane. This fight was fucking crazy. No problem with this winning fight of the night. I do think it's a little weird that Morozov gets rewarded with $50,000 despite losing when all those guys had finishes and they get a bonus, but the fight was amazing. So I don't really have an issue with it. And really, the UFC should have given out more bonuses on this card. They're being cheap. Like, this fight and Lawrence Martinez should have been fighting, I think. But this fight was insane because the first round, it was complete domination. I remember even tweeting, like, man, this guy's getting his ass kicked right now. Like, it was bad. Like, takedown, knockdown, everything. Then something happened, Marcel, in the fight. Second round, completely different fight. Like, 3 knockdowns by Silva Andrade and then finishes by submission. I think it's his first submission in like 10 years or something. Like, has an amazing post-fight speech, amazing interview, wins the bonus. This is like, even though he's 36, this is like one of those star-making performances somehow. Like, I was blown away by this guy's performance. His comeback. Amazing, Marcel. You've got to give credit to a guy, and I would have never picked this fight the way it panned out. I thought Morozov would win by decision. I never thought it would play out like this. Give me your thoughts.
By the way, it's his second bonus in a row. He won Performance of the Night last time against Pirello. Yeah, man, he a great comeback. What can you say? First round, I think I had a 10-9 for Morozov, but could have been 10-8. It could have been 10-8, I think. Yeah. And then it completely turned around. I think Morozov went a little bit flashy, and Douglas Silva Andrade, he tagged him pretty good a few times, and it completely turned around, got his back, choked him out, didn't tap out. Yeah, great. And the thing is, you got to have 2 fighters to have a fight like that. So I don't have a problem with the $50K, but I agree with Adam. UFC being cheap again, man. I mean, this is a pay-per-view. You can you can give these fighters a little bit more. I mean, there was so many good finishes on this card. Many guys actually deserve the extra cash, in my opinion. And for example, I know the UFC sometimes says like, yeah, we will give him a little bit extra. And then I see somebody who got a little bit extra and it's like $7K. It's like, okay.
Stupid though. It's like bonuses used to be higher, guys. Ever since Endeavor took over, they went to 50,000 straight because they used to give it like 65, 70. They gave Diego Sanchez and Martin Kampmann 130,000, I think. Remember that, Marcel, for that fight? And they gave him a ton of money.
Do you remember 129,000?
Yeah, and the UFC for UFC 129. I mean, that's what I'm saying. UFC 100 was 100,000. Like, why do they have to be cheap? Like, I don't get it. It's just really stupid. And again, if those guys have that extra incentive, like, they're going to perform on better performances. Yeah, Andrade is solid. I'm going to get Andrew your question now. He's talking about Blood Diamonds. All right, so this was the only pick I regret, obviously, guys. Let me get into this one. So, really, I wasn't planning on picking him at all, right? Like, I was like, man, Wells would probably take him down and beat him, which is exactly what happened. I should have listened to my initial instinct. And honestly, most of the time in the sport, your initial instinct will be correct. But lately, I've been having like success by these close fights where I'm like a little bit unsure about a newer fighter, and I'll watch the tape. And I was impressed by the striking. I thought if it stays standing, he could win. I was wrong. But again, at plus 200, I don't feel bad about it. You know, it was a shot in the dog. So shot in the dark on the dog. So for me, it is what it is. But obviously, this guy's not ready for the UFC, and the ground game is not there. Having said that, I mean, I still think Jeremiah Wells is just a hard matchup for a lot of guys. So I think Blood Diamond might get one more fight. You know, if he loses that, though, they got to send him away. Andrew, I think you said LFA. That makes sense. Clearly, too hard of a matchup, Marcel. This is the only pick where I actually regret it. Like, Malkoun beat Dobson, I wouldn't have picked that, you know, like, or Andrade winning. But this one is one I should have went the other way on. Go ahead.
You were almost lucky with Wells slipping.
Oh, my God. I'm like, yes, this is my chance. No, I'm kidding. That was one of the dumbest things I've seen. What was he even doing?
Yeah.
Wells is good, man. I mean, we like Wells. I like the guy. I told you, Marcel. I don't know why he switched. I really don't. It is what it is. You know, I too much tape watching on the kickboxing. You know, it's not a kickboxing fight. It's an MMA fight. Knew that. Should have known better. Anyways, it is what it is. But, you know, Marcel, all the picks, I got 4 wrong. This is the only one I should have went the other way on. But
which 4 you got? Which 4 you got wrong? I also got
Andrade, Malkoun, and then Whittaker. So, and I would have been a pick-up on the rest of the team, right? That's the issue. So
Malkoun, which one? Malkoun, Davis or none Davis, Lewis. I got wrong.
Yeah,
and the one Cannonier against Brunson.
Yeah, exactly. So I think 10-4 is a great record. I'm still in first place in the staff picks, by the way, guys.
Yeah,
so I'm actually having a really good. It's like, it's been a good start to the year. Having said that, last year I also was in first place for like the first few months, and then ended up like middle of the pack. So
and that Brian got every event 10-1.
Brian is just he can go on some hot streaks. All right, last fight. Maxim Grisham defeats William Knight, wins a decision here. I mean, listen, like, fight wasn't great. It was actually a pretty bad fight. You know, first 2 rounds for Knight, third round, Grisham, third round for Knight maybe, or third round Grisham, I guess. It doesn't really matter. You know, the guy lost. Not only that, but he showed up 12 pounds overweight. They shifted the fight up in weight class. William Knight now is 2-2 in the UFC. Sorry, he's 3-2 in the UFC. So he'll get another fight, but I told you guys the Dao and Jung fight worried me about the size, and the size played it. Marcel, it looked like a middleweight with a lot of muscles against the legitimate heavyweight. Honestly, that's what it looked like to me. If there's a way for this guy to lose, like, someone's got to tell him, put the dumbbell down, put the barbells down, bro. You don't need to keep lifting. Like, he doesn't need all this muscle, Marcel. I don't think he needs it at all. Mm-hmm. And I just think William Knight is really holding himself back in ways, guys. Like, I think if he just turned to a lean dude like a Jerry Cannonier and went to 185, he would have a ton of success. Heavyweight, he's not going to win any fights in the UFC at heavyweight. I don't think. Light heavyweight, he'll win a few. I don't think he'll win any fights at heavyweight. And 218 is the worst weight miss in UFC history. Can he even make 205 again? I don't even know.
I gotta say it was a short notice fight, but still, there's a lot of weight, you know. And I mean, Russian Felder did well, and he got the win. So
yeah, it wasn't a great fight. He does look like Paul Felder, actually. Good call. Wells pulled a Jared Gellenberger, a little bit. When he got stuck against Nazareth, that was bullshit though. His foot got legitimately stuck in the fence, and it should have been a no contest, Marcel. It was like a cage malfunction,
super
right?
Weird.
He couldn't get his foot out. It wasn't his fault, really. Grisham got screwed by being pushed to the bottom. Dude, I agree. They switched up the card after the weight miss, and they put Grisham in the first fight, which a lot of people didn't watch, obviously. Sorry, not many people watched. And then the Phillips and Rojo. I mean, to be fair, more people watched them, I think, on ESPN than on pay-per-view. But there is that prestige of being on pay-per-view, and you're more likely to get a bonus on pay-per-view as well. So I think they got a little bit screwed there. Anyways, hey, Joe, what's going on, man? Go back and watch the replay, man. Yeah, because he just came. We're gonna get out of here in a sec. I got my bowling league in 45 minutes. I gotta go in soon. We got A Locus says he likes Jacob versus Petrosky or Maximov. Malkoun. Yeah, you know what? I think Petrosky, that's a great fight or Maximov, because they're both cardio machines. Petrosky's not a cardio machine, but he's just super strong. That'd be a good fight. You know, overall, Marcel, I think it was a really good event. I enjoyed watching this card. For the most part, it was a good night. What do you think overall?
I gave it a 7 out of 10. So I think it was a good event.
It was a solid card. So this Saturday, guys, we have UFC Vegas 48 Walker versus Hill. And we're going to get those 15 fights tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern. Can't do it today, guys. Can't do it today. Oh, hype. You know what, man? I actually was amazing at bowling 2 years ago before the pandemic. We have not bowled. My average was 215 2 years ago. Now I'm in the 180s. It's really bad, but I have not bowled at all, like, for the last 2 years. So I am pretty good, but the last 2 years has been bad. It's just something I do, like, only once a week now. I'm not really super into it. I have a kid now, right? So, like, at night, Marcel, I'm usually with my kid, and that's the way I like it, to be honest with you. Anyways, tomorrow, guys, we'll be here at 5 p.m. Eastern. We're going to break down UFC Vegas 48. Really looking forward to talking about this card with you, Marcel. Walker Hill main event. We'll probably touch on Bellator as well, and we'll touch on PFL Challenger Series as well. So should be a good show tomorrow, guys. We'll be here for an hour then at 5 p.m. Eastern, guys. Hope you have an amazing rest of your night. Be back with Marcel then. Talk about UFC Vegas 48 Walker Hill.